Now, after a business starts implementing and monitoring the strategies that it has adopted, what needs to be done is it needs to reach a certain level of efficiency to make its operations even more effective. And to do that, there are certain other techniques which take the business to a high level of perfection. So there are 4 basic techniques about which we are going to study in this last chapter of SM. And the first technique is called business process reengineering. Now first, let us try to understand what exactly is a process. A process is nothing but a set of interrelated activities which transform inputs into outputs. So say for example, production is a process, finance is a process, and so on and so forth. Now, business process reengineering, in simple words, means changing the entire process, changing the entire way right from scratch and making it totally different, obviously for the betterment. So, BPR is nothing but an approach that seeks improvement in operational efficiency and through which it effectively analyzes and redesigns the workflows and processes both within the organization and between organizations and the outsiders. So there is total reconstruction and rethinking of the process, and what we will do is we will try to reduce the number of steps and try to bring in more efficiency. So that will reduce the time, it will reduce the cost, it will probably have an impact on the quality, which is quality betterment, and the way customer will respond to that will also be better because it becomes better for the consumer as well as the business. So we start all over again, and that will have an influence on my time, which means I can reduce my time, I can reduce my cost, and keeping the quality same or improving the quality, and the customer responsiveness is certainly enhanced. Now, benchmarking is another technique whereby I try to follow the best practices followed in that industry or by other businesses of that industry. Now, let us just try to understand what benchmarking aims at. Now, in benchmarking, what we try to analyze is who is the best, who sets the standards, which standards are exactly those standards, how can we try to step in their shoes, and how can we follow their footprints so that we can achieve that standard of functioning, and how can we measure and judge the best. And certainly, good things are worth copying so that we also can get competitiveness. So this, in simple words, is what we need to do benchmarking. Now, after we've done that, we can implement our strategy accordingly. So benchmarking helps in product development, it helps in product distribution, maintenance, human resource management, assessment of manufacturing cost, and so on and so forth. So benchmarking is nothing but a tool wherein you set a standard and you try and achieve those standards by following steps already followed by businesses who have achieved those standards. So we need to identify the need for benchmarking. We need to understand my existing process. I need to identify the best process, which is nothing but the yardstick that I'm setting. And then I need to compare my process with what needs to be done. So I need to compare what actually is with what is desired. I need to identify the gap and I need to fill the gap, which is close the gap. And while doing this, I need to evaluate whether I am actually able to do what I have desired in terms of filling or closing that gap. And that is nothing but the process of benchmarking. Now, the third technique to actually achieve a high level of efficiency is called total quality management. The Japanese have mastered this art, and this concept was given by Dr. Deming and Dr. Jiran in the 1960s. Now, under TQM, what happens is there is the full form of TQM is total quality management, whereby they try to manage the quality at each step in the production process. Now, let's take a simple example of manufacturing a formal shirt. So, for that, we need to do a few activities. Activity 1, procuring the cloth, the right quality of the cloth, cutting it in the right size, stitching it, and packaging it. So these are simple 4 activities that we list. Now at the time of procurement, the person concerned will think about the quality and will only forward a good quality raw material to the next person, because that person will think that the next person who is going to cut that is my internal customer. Consumers come at the end after the packaging and everything is done. So here there is a fundamental of internal customer. So a person who's procuring the cloth will think that no, I cannot forward a bad quality product because the next person is my internal customer. Now, the next person will cut the cloth in the right size so as to be in the right fitting and will forward accordingly, thinking that the person who is going to stitch is my internal customer. Now the person will stitch properly and will forward it to the packaging person, thinking that I can't forward a bad quality product because ultimately this is what is going to go out of the company to the end user. And the person who is concerned with the packaging will also package it in such a way that till the product reaches the end user, it is in the same condition. Now, if this kind of an approach is utilized in the production, whereby we try to manage quality at each step in the production process, the end product will tend to be of a high quality. And this is nothing but the simple fundamental of total quality management. And the fact that we need to do total quality management comes back to this point where we need to understand that at no point in time the quality of a product can be 100%. There is always some or the other improvement possible. And the various techniques of doing TQM, I just like to mention one of the techniques which is called quality circles, and this is extensively used in Japan, whereby people form groups. They are self-directed people. They do not get instructions from their superiors. They are people belonging to the same organization who meet up to discuss only one thing: how to improve the quality. And that group of people, ideally from 8 to 15 people, that group is called a quality circle. And a lot of small improvements bring about a big improvement in the quality of the product. And that is the whole funda of total quality management. And once we do benchmarking, once we do BPR, which is business process re-engineering, once we use techniques like total quality management, we are going towards a level of 6 Sigma efficiency or 6 Sigma perfection. Now, 6 Sigma simply is a tag given to businesses which have a perfection rate of only making 3.4 mistakes per million. Now, the defective ppm refers to parts per million. 1 million is 10 lakhs. So, suppose I manufacture a product, say this air mouse, and per 10 lakh per 1 million, that is air mouse manufactured, if only 3.4, that is if only 4 are defective, then my business can get a 6 Sigma rating, which means the percentage of quality should be 99.999998%. And that business will get a 6 Sigma, which is nothing but a rating or a tag for this level of perfection. It is very easy for companies to achieve this kind of a perfection, which are having a huge capital, which have huge financial resources, so they can set up automated production units because machines don't usually make mistakes. But achieving such a thing in the service industry is very difficult. And earlier, I mentioned about Mumbai's Dabbawalas. They have a 6 Sigma efficiency. So 6 Sigma basically is not just a quality initiative. It is also a near perfection or a zero defect approach. So is TQM. TQM also aims at zero defect. And here, by aiming at 6 Sigma, we try to bring about such a change that we can have an edge over others, which is nothing but reaching my strategic edge. So there are 2 ways in which you can implement Six Sigma in your organization. For existing products, it is define, that is where exactly, how exactly I'm going to achieve. You measure, you analyze. Now, measure and analyze will improve, trying to measure where I am and trying to analyze where I want to reach and fill the gap accordingly. And to fill that gap, I need to constantly improve. I need to do controlling, which is a constant process. If I am successful in controlling, I need to go to the next step. Again, I define my goals. Again, I measure. Again, I analyze, I improve, I control. And I keep doing this till I reach my Six Sigma perfection, or till my business gets this Six Sigma rating. Now, reaching the top is easy. Staying there is not, as the famous saying goes. So I need to constantly strive hard to remain there at the top, to be able to be a Six Sigma company or a Six Sigma business. Now, for new products, I need to define, I need to measure, I need to analyze. So I need to measure where I am, I need to analyze where I want to reach, and because it's a new product, so I need to design the right process. I need to verify. Now, verifying here will involve some degree of controlling. So when I control, I'm just trying to verify whether I am able to make sure that the desired results are as per the achieved results. So these are two ways of doing Six Sigma in existing products and for new products. Now there are 6 themes of Six Sigma. Six Sigma has a total focus on the customer. Six Sigma, it is not just merely out of a euphoria or out of an extreme happiness. It is totally driven by data and facts. It is a constant process. It needs action. And Six Sigma is basically an example of a proactive management, whereby a business wants to reach a certain level of efficiency, and that is why it is actually striving hard to do that. And for doing Six Sigma, there has to be a boundaryless collaboration. Now, what this means is that there has to be a supreme synchronization between the various activities in an organization. And only if those activities are synchronized, there is a smooth flow of work in the organization. And that is what helps efficiency furthermore. And there should be a zeal for perfection. There should be a vigor with which the employees in the organization should work. And failure is not a stepping stone to success. That is probably the old saying. The new saying is failure is a part of success. So those who have tasted success have definitely tasted failure some or the other time in their life. So even if we are not able to succeed, we need to keep going. Perseverance is what we're talking about. So these are the 6 themes of Six Sigma. Now, coming to the 7 chapters that I started the explanation of my subject with, I mentioned that strategic management is a journey of business to perfection. So just to sum it up, when a business has an understanding of itself, it decides its objectives, it decides its goals, it has an understanding of its vision, it will decide what strategy to implement, which we understood about in chapter 4, and that will be after analyzing the various products it has. We understood the various product portfolio analysis techniques. So after deciding the organizational strategies, a business will formulate functional strategies. We understood about marketing, production, HR, finance. And after deciding with those strategies, a business will implement those strategies with the help of good leadership in the organization. And as and when required, whenever required, it will try to bring about a change in the organization. And once that is done, there is constant controlling which is required. There is constant monitoring which is required. So if things are going as per desired, great. We need to go ahead. We need to keep going. In case things are not going as per what we had thought, we need to take some corrective measures to rectify things going wrong. And once we keep doing that, we need to achieve a certain level of efficiency and perfection so as to reach Six Sigma through various techniques like TQM, benchmarking, business process re-engineering, and so on and so forth. So reaching Six Sigma efficiency is basically nothing but a journey. It is not a destination. That is where a business should reach. And this was nothing but the journey of SM. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. Good luck.